educate the Muslim community in the ethics of Islam. It is annoying sometimes when Muslim leaders tell families to keep their women at home. It is correct that women has a bigger responsibility when it comes to raising children, but we can't close our eyes to the society we are coexisting in. Your opinion matters. Number 1. The first matter spouses often have disagreement about is money. Number 2. If there wouldn't be any females in different professions, the Muslim woman would have to go to male doctors, male nurses, and male teachers, and males in kindergarten, males in shops for women, and etc. At a time where they need to talk with people of the same gender. And number 3, the most marriages in the West need 2 salaries to be able to pay for the expenses. Number 4, the wives that stay home for the kids' upbringing usually have a small social network. In other words, their need to socialize is not met by only going to the mosque sometimes a month. Number 5, many Muslim men doesn't pay for the expenses of their wife. They do not fulfill their duty of providing for her and giving her a certain amount every month like Islam says they are supposed to. Number 6, instead of holding back our women from work because of their hijab, why do we not at least educate Muslim men to treat other Muslim women within the boundaries of modesty, lowering gaze, guarding tongue, and private parts? Number 7, help the women in your family to choose profession where they can be an advantage for the community, while also keep their hijab and their modesty, and also be safe where she is. When Muslim women will take an active part in their work, they will be able to influence decisions that affect Muslims in the community. They will help build strong communities. The Muslim women's opinions matters. The patient can choose the gender of the doctor. If every family told the women to stay home because of Islam, within a few generations, Muslim women would have far more trouble in going outside. The places where the female gender is necessary would be male-dominated. That could cause more trouble for especially Muslim females. I don't know if anyone have been in Pakistan lately. There is a reason why they have built malls for females only, or in a specific timing, only females are allowed to go inside the mall. That means only female workers will attend them. In that way, they do not have unwanted attention that decrease their freedom and their modesty. And the safety of women is also safeguarded at the same time. Imagine a woman doctor in Norway can't choose to only have female patients. She has to treat both genders neutrally, with modesty, of course. If there weren't any female Asian lady doctors, many Asian women today might not be able to get the proper help they needed. In the time of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, many Sahabi took part in the battles where Muslims fought. They were female Sahabi, sometimes as nurses bandaging the wounded and also as fighting the enemies. It's in our Islamic heritage. The community needs more women to take part in building healthy communities. Islam does not dismiss women working. It just wants both genders to practice the ethics of Islam at work, at school, and outside whenever they are outside. The beauty is in the perfection. I believe Islam is beautiful. I love Islam. But sometimes we have to be a bit practical. Islam is perfect, but the practice of Islam in the Ummah makes it look ugly. A preacher of Islam once said, there was a time when Muslims practiced Islam in such a way, people said, look at so and so to motivate other Muslims. Nowadays, the name is often Muslim, but the practice is so poor that when we talk to some people who are interested in learning about Islam, we tell them to learn it from the Quran and the Sunnah. Go back to the real source. Don't look at Muslims and their practice today, who doesn't pray, and who lies, and who backbites, and who earn money in a haram manner. Their practice is not Islamic, but their names are. I'm sure many Muslims know families where the whole family has been Muslim for at least 3 generations, yet still neither of the generation is following even the basics of Islam. Yet they call themselves Muslims and are members of mosques. Let's look at the world. In some countries, wagons of the public transport is different between the genders to prevent harassment of women. Some countries have been talking about it. In Afghanistan, a woman goes out with niqab and all her body covered, even the face. Still, these women are harassed there. It is because the men aren't lowering their gazes and practicing modesty. In India, group rape of women and rape in general is widely spread. In Egypt, women have their undergarments teared off in the street by men walking beside them. It's not enough to keep women at home to protect them from assault. Parents must teach both sons and daughters how to behave within the boundaries of Islam and Haya. Lowering gaze, hijab and Haya, and less interaction. If these men were taught good values from the childhood, regardless of their faith, many of them would have had a good character. It's not enough to name your son as a Muslim name. If you don't teach him good values that Islam teaches, then it will be your own loss. Remember, in many countries, women are wearing hijab, yet are still being harassed. Obviously, the men must also lower their gazes and protect their private parts and practice modesty. First, look at your references. Keeping the women at home to protect them isn't the answer. Not for everyone, but maybe for someone. It is the time of internet, YouTube, Snapchat, Skype. Filth can be found in the media within your home. With free time and boringness, many people can go astray, even women. Ya Allah, please protect us from it. Amen. If you don't teach your children to fear Allah, they can easily get misguided. The reason why such problems are on the increase is because we think just knowing Islam is enough. Even your wife needs reminders about this so she doesn't go astray when it comes to media when she's at home. That's completely what we need to do. Even non-Muslim knows about Islam. Many times more than many Muslims, they know details about it. Yet they haven't accepted it yet in their heart, nor do they practice it. We Muslims have accepted the message, but do not live according to it. It is not enough to know that the prayer is important. Unless you pray the prayers every day, you will not be granted the khushu or the sweetness of the prayer. That which Huzur Prophet said is the coolness of the eyes and the biggest comfort in hardships. We need a spiritual awakening of the Ummah, where we also are doing the good we know. It's like when your supervisor is going to hire a new colleague. No one hires a new employee based on what they know, even if they have a master's degree. The theory is not everything. First, they look at their references. Do they have practice from the subjects they have studied? That's why most people have many difficulties finding the first job. To have that first reference that will open doors for them for better opportunities. When we improve on our spirituality, we will practice Islam also in private, not only in public. The wisdom of Islam comes from practicing, not only by knowing what you have learned or just talking about it. Housewife from back home. Many women in arranged marriages who travel to Norway with a spouse live at home for the first 10 years of their marriage. In Pakistan, still many women are housewives, and many gain weight while they're at home. Many sleep the day and wakes after the midday. No specific routine of the day. The social life in Pakistan is better than in Norway. A wife that is married to a Pakistani in Norway often have small social circles and have to start from scratch in building their network. After these women have stayed home the first 10 years of their marriage, raising children, they are often very eager to start an employment, socialize with others. The children doesn't need that much of them at home now. Their expenses have increased or not been paid by the husbands. Very little socializing in their own network. Many eagerly start learning the language of their country in hope for a job. Many health issues from poor diet. These women, most of them, want to get out to do more for the society, for the community, and for themselves, and also to have money to pay for their own expenses. Their problems are underrated, and few talk about it, and many are also struggling in their marriages. The community needs Muslim women in many professions. We can live in a bubble and think that this is what we know, this is what we want. Unless the world is able to offer it, we have to seek insight in the reality of our time today. Keeping women at home is not the only option. First, parents need to educate both genders about ethics of Islam. Cultivate in them the fear of Allah, that He is watching. Help them choose good friends and good education according to the gender. If you really want to protect your wife from the ill of the societies, whether you live in Norway, USA, or Pakistan, talk with others about how we can educate men and sons and women and girls to practice Islam, also outside the home, when they're alone. Social life in Norway is very different from Pakistan, and many wives lead a very depressive life staying at home as housewives, not even knowing the language. Help them choose a profession where they can utilize their abilities, earn salary and socialize. All this within the boundaries of Islam. All this will help the Muslim women increase their quality of life. They will be happier, active and learning and changing and growing as people, knowing more about the society they live in and can take an active part of making it better for themselves and for other families living in a community. That is important to raise good, obedient children, to not only think about your own children, but also thinking about the children of every family in the community. The Muslim woman can positively influence the development of our community. Ya Allah, please help the community succeed in making this possible for Muslim women in Norway and worldwide. If they wish to stay at home, that's okay. But if they wish for employment, then make it easy for them so they can protect their own faith as a Muslim and also use their abilities and qualities for the betterment for the communities. Amen. While also taking care of all of the duties at home. Amen.